Re perile ba kokwane. Greetings from Musoni, Mtukulu Wabangoni, Nivandao. Today is the 21st of March, 2023, and we are commemorating SHARPVILLE Day, which most people know it as Human Rights Day. I choose to call it SHARPVILLE Day so that I can keep its original memory and intent, because I feel like its original memory and intent is being lost in this Human Rights Day labeling. And I do not want to commemorate it as a massacre, but I want to bring out a part, because everybody knows there was a massacre. It ended with a massacre, but there's an aspect that a lot of people are not aware of. They don't understand what actually happened on that day, the significance of the 21st of March 1960, because something happened on that day that made the apartheid regime shake in their boots. It made them very nervous, and I'm going to explain what that was. So on that day, Robert Sobukwe, the great, who was one of the leadership in the Pan-African Congress, aka the PAC, led a march to one of the local police stations at SHARPVILLE, and with the intention of frustrating the system, because the system required every African to carry what they call a DOM pass, some form of an ID. The word DOM, it's an Afrikaans word. It means dumb. So, and a pass would be like a passport. This is a typical example of the DOM pass, which is one of the ones that you can find on the internet. I just hope they got permission from the owners to upload them in the public domain, because clearly there is some form of discomfort in finding this kind of information in the public domain, and I'm only using it so that we can understand what our people had been going through during that time. And this one is of Miss Zulu. If she had not given permission for her DOM pass to be, or information to be in the public domain, I do apologize to her and the family for using this picture. So this document essentially allowed the system to be able to control the African population, the native population, in keeping the people in check in terms of the boundaries that they had put for African people, because what they feared the most was African unity. And what a lot of people do not know is that the reinforcement and the security of apartheid was actually tribalism. Without tribalism, apartheid could not be maintained successfully. And I'm going to explain further. So I just want to show you guys something in the DOM pass that you might not have been aware of. I'd like to bring your attention to the area that I've circled on the document, and that is the area written tribe. So they use the document to identify your ethnicity, the ethnic group that you belong to. And I'm going to explain that importance. So the security and insurance of apartheid was tribalism. And so the apartheid regime established and maintained very closely the aspect of tribalism. So today when you go to different townships in South Africa, for example, when you go to Soshanguve, Block H was known as the Tsonga area or Shangaan area. When you go to Tembisa, Tsonga or Shangaan area would be Ubeni. And if you go to Soweto, Shawela, that's where the Tsongas and the vendors, the Shangans and vendors would be found. And perhaps like Zola for Zulus and stuff like that. So origin of all of that was the apartheid government had placed divided African people within their ethnic groups. And so they could not do that by just looking at you, obviously. So they had to implement a system. That's where the Dom Pass came in, and had to implement a curfew, because during the day all the different ethnic groups had to come together in the mines and the firms where they worked and everything. That's why they had to implement a certain curfew, so that at a specific time, if you are Zulu and you are found in Tembisa at section Ubeni section, when you should be on the other side, it's Tucha, then you'll be arrested because you are violating the Tribalism Act. They suspect that you are involved in some form of unification, which is something they cannot afford to have. So you can imagine that nothing would make the apartheid regime more nervous than seeing Africans coming together in unity in one area, in one spot. And so when they marched to that SHARPVILLE, the image that you see right here, they did not have their Dom passes. They left them at home, and so the idea was to march to the police station and demand to be arrested as the law states. And when you're looking at all these people, you could not identify their ethnicity, and the only thing that you could see is that they're African. And this is what made the regime very nervous. And of course, when wild animals become nervous, they attack, and so they attacked the masses that had gathered, and many were killed. But this, the massacre then brought a grieving, obviously, amongst the people, and the people realized it is not Zulu people that are grieving, it is not Sotho people or Shangaan people or Venda people. All of us, no one could identify the ethnicity of the people that were laying there because they did not have their Dom passes. So the people then, obviously, when a system of tribalism is put together, people obviously mentally start adapting to it and behaving as such and acting accordingly. But when that march happened and that massacre happened, the people were united in their hearts and no longer saw each other in their ethnic groups. This made the government very nervous, and they had to come together and come up with a different plan, because now apartheid was being threatened at its core because the people were now united. And that very thing that they trusted to keep it together, which the glue, which was tribalism, was no longer in effect. So I'm going to reveal a small secret of what the government did. They then looked for another way to divide the people because tribalism was no longer effective. So what did they do? They implemented an empowerment program for a select few African people who were key people in the community and in the struggle, give them privileges and rights which other African people could not have, like owning property and running businesses. I'm not going to say too much about this, but the first black elites in South Africa were created in 1960. Black economic empowerment did not start with the ANC government. Thank you for watching. Like the video, share the video, and if you're not subscribed to the channel, press that subscriber button. Peace and African power. Shout out to the people of SHARPVILLE.